We formed the Greater Topeka Partnership. That consists of Go Topeka, Visit Topeka, the Chamber of Commerce, and Downtown Topeka.
Feels like we got a lot going for us right now. What are some of the big things that you see happening?
We're the capital city.
Yeah.
We need to really embrace that and celebrate that.
Hosting the cheerleader podcast, just hyping up the city.
This podcast was brought to you by Choose Topeka. If you're thinking about making a move, Choose Topeka can get you up to $15,000 to relocate.
Whether you're buying or renting, Topeka and Shawnee County are ready to welcome you. Apply now at choosetopeka.com. All right, we've got Molly Howey in the studio with us. You're the CEO of the Greater Topeka Partnership. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks so much. So could you just give us a quick rundown? What exactly is the Greater Topeka Partnership? What do they do for Topeka?
Sure. Yeah. So every community is unique, right? Every community usually has a chamber of commerce, maybe a downtown organization, something to do with tourism, economic development. And Topeka has always had those organizations, but about 8 or 10 years ago, we decided that we would be better if we were all together. And so we formed the Greater Topeka Partnership. And that consists of Go Topeka, economic development, Visit Topeka, tourism, the Chamber of Commerce, which is a little different here in Topeka because it is mostly focused on government affairs and lobbying and advocacy. And then downtown Topeka. So we've got all separate actual entities housed together and sharing kind of our back office operations of marketing, communications, finance, and admin.
Wow.
And we're all working under the same strategic plan. So that's great because we're all rowing in the same direction and able to share a lot of assets and it's really worked well so far. And there's a lot of models across the country that have been separate and are looking at how to join forces like we have.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of being a combined unified force?
Well, I mean, some are really obvious, right? So we all used to be in different office spaces. Now we're all in the same office, so we can just walk down the hall and having a conversation and that water cooler talk, if you will. The organic discussions are much more frequent than they would have been when we were all separate. But then obviously, since we share that staff, we've got the same marketing team working on collateral for a visitor as would be working on collateral for a business coming to town. And so we can share actual physical digital assets and labor and things like that. So that's really helpful. And then just the unified message and strategy and knowing that we're all part of this ecosystem, and a visitor could become someone that's a resident, and a visitor could become someone that starts a new business. I just talked to one of my coworkers about that today, that there was actually a family that moved here from our Choose Topeka campaign that is from Venezuela, and they had seen advertisements on Telemundo.
What?
They came here, sight
That's
unseen.
awesome.
Yep.
Come on.
Started a restaurant and I think a nail salon. And so you just,
Telemundo.
Yeah, it's the whole ecosystem working together, speaking the same language.
Did you say
brand.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
I just saw something today about probably their restaurant, a new Venezuelan restaurant that went in on
29th Street?
Yes.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, that is super cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever had?
I have. I hope they serve some arepas.
They do. Bob just told me about those.
Fire.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
do.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, I had a Venezuelan roommate, and he cooked us some homemade arepas, and they were
Nice.
fuego. That's right. They're fuego.
Talk to us a little bit about, for those who maybe don't live here, or I don't even want to say heads in the sand, but that maybe just aren't as plugged into Topeka. What's happening in Topeka right now? I mean, I feel like every time I hop onto Facebook, there's a new development. Washburn's doing something. There's a new restaurant going in downtown. It feels like we got a lot going for us right now. What are some of the big things that you see happening right now?
Gosh, there is a ton. It's really hard to choose, right? Because I could probably answer that question for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Please do.
There's a lot in regards to housing. So on both ends of the spectrum, affordable housing, higher end executive housing, multifamily housing, single family housing. We still are one of the top housing markets, which is a good thing, but also from a demand perspective, people want to live here, but we've got to catch up with our supply.
Yeah.
So knowing that we've got 500 units going in downtown, I think the study that was done a few years back said we needed 900. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting to just see the diversity in the types of offerings that we have. And also geographic diversity is getting better too. So housing, there's some projects going on the east side. There's always something going on west, southwest. And, I think that that's something that Topekans haven't seen in a long time. So it's kind of a shot in the arm for the feel-good part for residents. And also, as we try to attract new companies and new residents to come here, they need to see themselves living in a type of environment that they want to live in,
Yeah.
whether that's a downtown loft or, house on some acreage right outside of town.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay, the downtown lofts that are going in, that was just announced within the last couple
Tuesday.
Days.
Yep.
When this will be released, probably the last couple weeks. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. What's going down there? I saw there was it's downtown apartments.
Right.
There's some amenities that are going in there as well.
Sure. So that's a project that's been in the works for about 6 years.
Whoa.
6 years.
Yeah. And it's very rooted in relationships. So a lot of the work we do is, and when you're a mid-sized city, sometimes you get overlooked when developers are looking at certain numbers and thresholds they need to meet. So relationships are really key for us because instead of just looking at the data, it's like, well, somebody knows someone that may have a connection to a developer that maybe wouldn't have looked at Topeka, but for this relationship they have.
Wow,
Sure.
interesting.
So that happens to be kind of the situation with that project. Forever, we have called it Project View.
Project View.
It didn't have a name until it was announced this week. So the developers are Flaherty and Collins. They're out of Indianapolis, and they have really stayed right alongside us for longer than most developers would.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years is a long time for a multifamily housing complex to come to the agreement point that we're at right now. So it will really be market rate, and it will be, I think, 4 stories. They've got a lot of amenities that you would see in newer modern complexes with a dog spa and a dog
Yeah.
park
snap. Okay.
and, a heated pool and fire pits and grilling stations and all,
Let's go.
the whole works. And
to go hang out there.
Yeah. Well, there's a rooftop lounge. I don't know how you get onto
yeah.
that rooftop lounge, but that will be part of it with a great view of the Capitol. So, downtown on 6th Street between Van Buren and Jackson. So the entrance,
Yeah,
I think, will be right at 6th and Van Buren.
So right next to everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
Very walkable.
those restaurants there are going to be so pumped.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge for foot traffic.
Yeah.
You want a quick bite to eat instead of having to drive maybe 20 minutes downtown to go get a burger at the Pennant. It's like, hey, we could just walk.
Is
Or it's right
6th
there.
is that the street the White Linen is on?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
It'll kind of just be a block west of the White Linen on the opposite side of the street.
Amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah. So
Okay,
that's going to be great.
You have been the CEO now for 6 months?
About, yeah.
6 months?
Yep.
Okay. Give us a little bit of a run. But you had worked at the partnership for how many years before that?
So I was president of Go Topeka prior to becoming CEO of the Greater Topeka Partnership.
Okay,
so I was on the economic development side, and I
Yes.
had been with Go Topeka for, this summer it'll be 15 years. I've been with the organization. So.
Okay, so what has it been like? You're a part of the organization. Obviously, even a really big part of the organization is the president of one of the sections of the partnership.
Sure.
Now you're the CEO. What has changed about your perspective of the city, about what's going on in the city since taking on this new role?
Well, I would back up a little bit because economic development changed a lot in the 14 years that I was with Go Topeka prior to taking this current role, and became much more holistic. So when I started, it was very much capital investment, jobs, wages, all numbers based.
Right.
And even the site selection criteria back then, when a company would look at where they were going to locate, was all very much around that. That's still a big piece of decision making. But in the past probably 8 to 10 years, everything has become much more holistic and much more focused on the whole community, the all of the amenities that are there, because to have a workforce, you've got to have a cool place to live.
Right.
So I had started looking at things differently when the vertical I was in of economic development started to change.
Vertical.
But I think I used that word last time.
I think maybe I asked you about that.
Yeah.
What's a vertical?
Yeah. Section. But in the CEO role, you look at things a lot differently. Of course, a piece of that I didn't have to focus on as much in the past was my team is a lot larger.
Sure.
I was leading a section of GTP, and now all of those folks that were just my coworkers before, I'm much more ingrained with them. So, having about 35-ish employees on a team, I didn't really interface with as much of them as frequently. So that piece is just kind of a technical in the weeds part of it. But it's fun because you get a lot more celebrations.
Wow.
Economic development can be really slow.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of no's and very few yeses.
Yeah.
And being part of the whole team and being in the role that I'm in now, I get to see a lot more of those celebrations throughout the whole
from the whole thing
than I did before, because I was just heads down, working on our individual focus. And now it's like, gosh, I get every time I turn around, somebody's got something fun and exciting to talk about. And so that's really energizing and something that I think I didn't think about. It was a surprise and a good surprise.
Yeah. So that's a great point, because that makes me think of a large percentage of the city of Topeka has a very negative view of the city of Topeka and might say things like, nothing good will ever happen here. There's nothing to do here. Why would you move here? Things like that. In fact, I moved here 5 or 6 years ago, and some people, when I first met them, I told them I moved here. They're like, why did you move here? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, this place is awesome. And we've never regretted it. We love being here.
And now you're hosting a Topeka podcast.
Now we're hosting the cheerleader podcast, just hyping up the city because we love it. But to maybe folks who have a paradigm like that, what are some wins? What are some things you're just excited about? You look over at the scope of the city and you think, man, Topeka's really winning with this. What are some things just in your role that you get to see?
Yeah. So I think we've made great strides, and there's still a lot of opportunity in all these things that I'm going to mention. So we have not made it to, the pinnacle, and we're done with any of these things. And I don't think we ever will be. So that's one thing, is that we're never going to have that complex that we don't need to be any better. Now, we don't need to be another community. We need to be the best Topeka we can be.
Right.
But I think that Midwest work ethic and really also shines through in our leaders and our stakeholders in the community, saying, well, that was great, but how can we make it better? So I give that caveat just because there are a lot of wins that are early wins that are still, we can still build on.
Sure.
One being, we still need more housing. But there's been a lot of great wins in housing. We've got the affordable housing on the other side of downtown to anchor the south side. And then, the airport has had some recent wins. I don't know if you've seen it. They've got a hangar that will be under construction here pretty soon.
Yeah. Did they announce which airline is coming?
Well, okay, so there's two things on the airport. What has more traction right now and had the positive announcement within the last week is more on the economic development side. It is a construction of a new hangar that would be positioned to add new jobs and a new company to come in. And the type of company they're targeting is called MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul.
Yes.
So we have a lot of really unique assets in our airfield at Forbes Field, with space, unencumbered airspace, and just a new huge runway that can land literally anything.
Whoa.
Longest runway in the state. And so
in the state.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the state. Yeah. But we haven't had any hangars to attract the companies that need those things.
Right.
They need a building, and that industry is really they roll out the red carpet for aviation aerospace industry. So they're used to coming in and saying, I want this and I want that, and if you don't have it, then they're going to pass you up.
Right.
So us having a space really gives me hope for more development there, and an industry that we haven't had much in. We don't have many companies that are aviation aerospace related. We have a few. But so just continuing to diversify the offerings that we have from the economic perspective and just different types of industries insulates us from all kinds of economic downturn. And it's just cool because it will attract a different type of skill set and give us an opportunity to grow there. So that's one thing that I think we have going for us with an opportunity at the airport. I think the downtown is has seen some great wins, but I honestly believe that we are at a plateau right now, that the projects I mentioned, the housing projects, are going to help us reach that next level.
Come on.
So I think there's real excitement that's going to come from those new housing developments in downtown. There's much more to be done down there. There's a lot of potential in those historic buildings that we're seeing some interest from outside developers that are coming in. And to your point about cost of real estate, we're seeing investors and developers that are coming into the market saying, wait, how much did you miss? Did you miss a zero on the cost of that?
Right,
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I just saw one at lunch, actually, that's here in town for a couple of days from the Denver area that is really interested in some opportunities for redevelopment of our historic buildings and the capital district, because we're the capital city.
Yeah.
And we need to really embrace that and celebrate that. So that's great. Recreation, youth sports specifically, I think we've done a lot there, and we have a lot of concerted effort and strategy that is ready to be deployed. And I think there's some great opportunities on the horizon for actual physical developments around youth sports. We are a big sports town, and I think every family's got a kid that they're shipping off or driving to, somewhere else in the region.
Yeah.
And for us to continue to develop that here and keep at a quality of life asset for families, but then also keep the dollars here and be able to compete for tournaments and things that are maybe landing in other parts of our region.
Yeah, I think we hear a lot of stories about like two Topeka teams driving to Kansas City to play each other
Yes.
and then drive back home.
Wild.
You're like, surely we could have done this in Topeka, right?
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. Man, as the youth sports continues to increase. I heard Sunflowers building some big updates to...
Yeah, they just got lights, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's
May
awesome.
seem basic, but that allows for more games.
Yeah, tournaments, stuff like that. It's awesome.
Well, switching gears, let's talk a little bit about Washburn University and what Washburn's, I guess they're growing like a weed.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
awesome.
it feels like every other day. We were just talking to Brett that there's something new going up.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about Washburn's impact on Topeka and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, quick heads up. If you've been thinking about relocating, Topeka might actually pay you to move here.
Seriously, you can get up to $15,000 to live and work in Shawnee County. Check it out at choosetopeka.com.
Now, back to the show.
So I'm a Washburn alum, so I may be a bit biased in this conversation, but go Bods. Much different than when I went to school there.
Yeah.
I remember they were just building like the first new dorms when I was there. And so to know they're like bursting at the seams for housing, record enrollments is it's just awesome. They didn't have the track and field team or track field and cross country teams when I was there.
Really?
So that's really great. Our indoor facility is just second to none. So, all of I think there's not many buildings left on the campus that haven't been redeveloped or just reconstructed.
They're running out of
space.
I know.
Right?
Yep.
It's amazing. And they're expanding too, like beyond the...
Yeah. With Washburn Tech East to Washburn Tech North now. Yeah. Just again, back to that variety and diversity of offerings, because, maybe there's somebody that wants to get a welding certificate. And then maybe there's somebody that wants to, be a nurse or an attorney. We've got it all at Washburn and Washburn.
Yeah.
So
I graduated from Washburn in the December of 20. And so I feel like I just got out of there, 5 or so years ago. And it's completely changed since I've got there. I spent all my time in the business hall, and now advisors, Excel's coming in and they're redoing the business building. I mean, they waited for me to leave to do all the good stuff.
I know. That's how I felt at KU too.
Yeah.
Graduated, and then it's like, where'd this brand new engineering complex come from? Like, you couldn't have had that a few years ago.
I think that's kind of how I felt when I moved out of my parents' house too. I'm like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Now you guys have a trampoline for the grandkids, and we couldn't have that because someone was going to break an arm. Now it's my insurance that's going to pay for it. But okay. Yeah.
I remember my wife and I lived in this rental one time when our first year of marriage, and it was a dump. And we talked to the landlord, and we're like, hey, we would be willing to like work out a deal with you to like fix up the house and like, work out a deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah. And then literally a month after we moved out, whole thing's fully renovated. I was like, dude,
oh my gosh.
like we would have helped you do this, and then we could experience it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. No, but Washburn is just a jewel in our community.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that we need to keep beating our chests about. And sometimes we're a little humble about the cool things that we have going on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it had been, gosh, forgotten's probably a strong word, but when I was in school there, I don't think that Washburn had the street cred or the respect that it has now. It's just so much different. And just to, the sports teams really help. That's fun. It's fun to go to
absolutely
any athletic event over there.
So true.
And Dr. Mazurek has a great vision for immersing in the community and then creating that mutual, I guess, promotion of one another, right? So I think we need to continue to do our part as a community to be proud that, we're not Lawrence as a college town, but we're a different kind of college town.
Right.
And that's not the only thing we have going for us. We have really strong corporate partners to balance out that too. So it's the best of both worlds.
What was the name? I'm drawing a blank. The Washburn professor we had on who has the run club.
Paul Wagner.
We had Paul Wagner on. He's a professor at Washburn. He said it best. We're awesome. He said, Washburn University, we're awesome
that's
now.
right.
He said back in the day when he first was a professor there 25-ish years ago, they had 3,000-ish students enrolled, and it was a commuter school. We're awesome now.
That's right.
6,000, 7,000 students living on campus, all these new developments going up. And especially the indoor track and field, I've just heard from, not only is that great for student athletes to use, but, we get to host those events now. And so everyone's coming to Topeka. All the schools in Division II are traveling to us to have those indoor meets, which is super cool.
Well, didn't someone tell us that, like, when they were first starting to get the idea to build it, the only place nearby that had something similar was like an NFL team?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone from the university told me that like there's like no one else has something quite like this.
Sure,
the closest
comparable.
was like, I don't know, like some NFL team they said. Or
We don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to roll with it.
Yeah, it is now published on this episode. So what is it? What is the dynamic of Washburn as like a city university as compared to KU, K-State, or state universities? I've heard that that's pretty rare.
It is.
But I've heard it's a really positive dynamic that we should be really excited about. Can you help us understand what that means?
Well, I won't go into the details that I am not for sure about, but what I do know firsthand is it creates a much tighter relationship and much more responsiveness to what our community's needs are. So when we're having a conversation, I mean, let's go back to aviation aerospace, for example. We can have a conversation with Washburn leadership about the opportunities that we have in certain areas and the need for the skills and education around those. And that's part of their criteria when they're choosing what new offerings to have, right? They want to know what the community needs.
Oh, so they can go, hey, we're going to offer an aviation program because
I don't know if it's that easy, but it's easier and much more.
But it's more of a dynamic, responsive conversation then.
Yeah, and it's much more a part of their strategy too. It's not just because we have a close relationship with them. It's because that's a part of Washburn's mission, is to be there for the community and a great community partner. So I feel like we probably get more of what the community needs than maybe some other college towns do that are much more focused on a larger region.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And Washburn understands that when the community grows, that's an opportunity for the university to grow too.
Yeah.
So
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, we want to switch to some rapid fire.
Exactly. Okay. You read my mind. Okay. So you are now our second guest to return. Our first guest return was yesterday, Brett Ballard.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're watching this live, these are not the same day we recorded this, but you've answered these questions. Now we get to just update people.
You get a second shot at
updates.
Them. Yeah. But you gave me those questions and I thought about them for so long. I didn't think about the rest of the interview, but like, oh gosh, who did I choose as my favorite?
Yeah. So we, at the end of all of our episodes with any of our guests, we like to do rapid fire, which are specific preferences and favorites of different things around the city of Topeka. I feel like, honestly, we should ask people in the YouTube comments for updated rapid fire questions.
We should.
Maybe people could vote on new rapid fire questions we add each time.
Yeah.
Try to give me some safe ones that I actually can answer.
It's true.
Oh yeah, it is difficult as a city leader because you're working with a lot of these businesses. So We'll just see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So Molly Howey, as a citizen, not as the CEO,
Okay.
as just
Don't get
a
to do that
normal
very often,
person
but
who
yeah.
lives in the city of Topeka.
If you were going to go tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite local restaurant.
I don't know, guys. I don't think I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do.
If you had to go somewhere tonight, where would you go?
If I had, well, I know where I am going tonight.
Where are you going tonight?
So I have daughters and nieces in their 20s, and our significant others are playing poker tonight. So we are all going to trivia at Tailgaters.
Nice.
Ooh, okay.
That's a great answer.
That is a great
I love
answer.
Tailgaters.
That just happens to be what I'm doing this evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Just coincidentally, has nothing to do with your role as a CEO of
Yeah.
okay. So do you have like a go-to date night in Topeka?
Yeah. I think you guys asked me this last time, and my date night, this is hard because my husband and I were just sitting there last night on the couch trying to figure out what we're going to do for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't want
Oh,
to put
yeah.
that all on him, right?
Yep.
That needs to be a man and a woman thing. And
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Set the record straight.
yeah. So,
Thank you.
So a date night, I just always like to do something that is different that's not happening all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if there's something new that's going on, like coming up, I'm really excited about Rock Orchestra that they're going to have at TPAC in
Yeah.
May, I think, or something. So anytime there's something that isn't a recurring
Right.
happening, I want to do that.
Yep.
I like to do the other things too, and there's staples
Yeah.
and things. But for what I would consider a date night, I'm just looking to see what's going on that you
Right.
could do any
yeah.
other night.
Events, concerts,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Are you
Yeah.
a coffee girl?
Yeah.
If you're going to grab coffee, you got a place you go?
Yeah, I answered this last time, and you know what I'm going to say this time?
Yeah.
Self-serving. Where I'm going right now is a place called Sparrow Coffee
Yeah.
that
Okay.
has just opened in our own Link Innovation Center on 6th
Yeah.
Street downtown. Like, I think they opened to the public on Monday.
Nice.
So I will spin that answer to where I plan to get coffee next time I get coffee is there.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
was
Directing
a little more
people
fair.
to a new business.
Yeah.
That has been brought to town.
Have you been
Yeah.
to the Higher Grounds coffee shop
Yeah,
on Boulevard?
yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
an awesome shop.
Oh, it is good.
It's
Oh, the one
kind
on Topeka?
Topeka Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of out of my way, so I don't go very often.
Yeah.
But I went once, and gosh, that's a great little shop.
Dude, I go there all the time. It's nice.
That's why it's
Super
hard
nice.
to pick your favorite because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
too many. So if you
Yeah.
ask me where I'm going next, then next time you ask me, it's going to be a
Absolutely.
different
Switch
answer.
it up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, Thursday Club, do you see they have a little Valentine's Day special?
I didn't, but I'm excited now.
Yeah. Look at
Cool.
it.
Dude,
But
Thursday Club's fire.
golfer? You like to golf?
Yep.
If you're going to go play 9 holes somewhere, where are you going?
Yeah. You
9
asked me this
holes.
last time
Or
too. Yeah, I
18.
don't usually pay.
If you're going to go play 3 holes somewhere.
3 holes and quit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to answer the same way in that where I'm planning to golf next, because if you looked at the forecast, I mean, it's feeling like spring out there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
7 degrees on Monday.
yeah. So tomorrow afternoon, my husband and I and my sister and brother-in-law are going to go golf at Cypress.
Nice.
These are the most convenient questions. You're
They are.
doing all the things we're asking about,
Yeah.
like this weekend.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Love
What
it.
else are you doing this weekend that we can ask you about?
What am I doing?
Probably just
Cleaning my
making,
house.
$1 million deals with companies moving to Topeka. and-
$50 million investments into apartments. I love
Yeah.
it.
No, tomorrow, without saying too much, Bob and I are walking through a potential redevelopment in downtown with the interested developer from Denver. So we're going to walk through and
Yeah.
see what his plans and vision.
Wow.
Yeah,
is.
6 months into the job, she's already got new apartments coming in. Look at her.
Ooh,
Boss.
That was a long time coming. I have been a part of it for a long time, but there's been a large team. I mean, that's the other thing, is that we frequently hear from outside investors and outside developers and people looking at the community. They are so amazed at the unity and the collaboration that we have, and that it just
Yeah.
makes things easier. They
Wow.
know that once they touch that web, that we're going to make sure that they get connected to wherever
Wow.
else they need to
Yeah.
get connected
Yep.
to.
So one of my favorite things to do when I'm driving around the city is, you'll see an abandoned building every now and then, and could have been all kinds of different things, a warehouse or whatever. And it's just really fun to imagine, like, okay, if I had $5 million
Yeah.
and I was gonna just like, what would I do with that? I got to imagine maybe you have similar habits of seeing like what could be. Do you have like
Yeah.
a certain building or district or area that you'd be like, man,
If you could wave a
someone
magic
turned
wand.
that around, that would be amazing.
Again, I don't know that I want to pick a favorite there. I will defer to say that there is still a lot of really cool space in downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool space.
So true. Yeah.
With just a built-in foot traffic from all of the state agencies and all the other corporate partners that are located down there, and then now residents.
Love it. Last question, where can people find you at? If they want to get plugged into the partnership, if they have a question about Choose Topeka or anything the partnership's doing, where can they get connected?
Yeah, so I mean, we're pretty active on social, mostly on Facebook, and getting better on Instagram with Visit Topeka, because there's some great imagery that we can really push out there. But I would say Facebook is the best place to see what's going on with the GTP. We are going through a logo redesign and a rebrand, and we'll be doing a new website. So keep an eye out for that.
So you can start doing like TikTok dances and stuff?
No. Someone on our team may, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
Cool. Molly, thanks so much for joining us. It's been awesome.
Thank you. It has been fun. Thanks.